Okay, we are live. Hello, dear participants of our event. Today we have the third event of our special GovTech event series. We are going to speak about actual topic like starting the project right, discover the problem. So join us for today excellent session like ultimate discovery phases and experience. I'm passing the uh, words to Dmitro and Dmitry.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, Dmitry. Hello, guys. You are welcome on our Project Insider event. Yep. And this event, just a kind reminder for all of us, this event not only for BAs, just generally for all IT specialists and fans. So we continue this beautiful and very important topic, GovTech event series, and everything in IT area, in project management area, program management area, business analysis area that related with GovTech technologies development on state level and not only. Uh, this market is growing. Possibilities and opportunities just huge, and that is why with our beautiful expert, as usually traditionally we can say, with Dmitry Litvinsky, our principal and business consultant expert specialist in GovTech area. We continue to discover these topics related to GovTech, and also just share with you our knowledge and experience. Yep. So let me go forward, and as usually for you guys today, we have very intensive and very informative discussion with a lot of experience that we're going to share, and with a great piece of knowledge that you're going to use as up on your projects. And one more time, our great expert, Dmitry, over 20 years in GovTech, guys, 20 years in GovTech and private sector digital transformation leadership. Leading digital transformation project in Dmitry portfolio as an activity. Utilize a system thinking approach for navigation in complex environments and interdependencies in that ecosystems. Provide expertise in managing technological adaptation to optimize operation in both government and private sectors. This experience is really unique. So, Dmitry, you're welcome. Maybe you
Yeah,
want
thank
to.
you very much. Thank you very much, Dmitry. Hello everyone. Hello, Dmitry. It's nice to be here again with you and to share some of my thoughts and experience. It's a pleasure to me to be here. And
Yeah,
I hope
that's good.
you can hear me well because definitely I have some sort of technical issues on my side maybe because
Uh-huh.
sometimes I have
Right now, right
yeah,
now, everything is fine.
good, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. So let's go forward. And just kind of reminder about myself. I'm Dmitry Lozovitsky, Chief Business Analyst in EPAM. And I'm convinced in that fact that only on the edge of different knowledge areas, we can born something new, something interesting, and something ultimately useful for us. And guys, one more time reminder about our format of this event. This is classic one because we have another special series of events in BA Project Insider on under BA Project Insider umbrella, and 30 minutes active discussion, three practical cases, two experts, and even more than three practical cases for today. And for sure, at the end of this event, we're going to share with you guys one pager helper from both of us, and that will be great for you, dear colleagues, because you can go and use them just as was mentioned. So let's start. And we traditionally in this series we're going to start from the topic disclosure slide, and I think that I can just make some kind of announcement, yeah, here that the discovery phase is a critical one, yeah, for any kind of project, because this is a really first step in software engineering process that everything is going to start from, yeah, from it, and that is extremely important for all of us just to be prepared very well on this step or for this step, and just conducting all kind of activities on this step in our best manner. Why? Because the start is the 50% of the success. Am I right, Dmitry?
Yes, yes, totally right. Agree. Couldn't agree
So,
more.
yeah. Yeah, so let's pass to the word to you. Maybe you can comment a couple of things on that slide.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least at the company where I've been working, yeah, for the last almost 5 years at EPAM, discovery is one of the most critical phases, I would say, of a software engineering project, of a digital transformation projects or programs, of a modernization of like legacy systems, especially in the like perspective of a successful further development or transformational activities. It is when we do the so-called thinking parts of a software development or like any other digital transformation modernization projects. Uh, let's say that we consider comprehensive discovery like obligatory phase, like must
Yeah,
have, especially if we are talking about fixed price projects, because it helps us set a robust foundation of technological and cultural understanding, not only technological, but also in connection to the cultural understanding based on which software is built, how these or that customer, their teams operate, and what kind of governance model they have, and so on and so forth. We are going to talk about this today. It helps us also to build the context for the problem we are solving and understand better the customer abilities, culture, operational model, like I said, technological aspects, infrastructural, security, legislation, and so on and so forth. Well, in my experience working with mostly, like you said, GovTech, fixed I remind this word again, fixed price projects. I've learned a thing or two, maybe, yes, about how to conduct successful discovery. I've just finished a couple of weeks ago another
yeah,
discovery project, which I'm going to share with you today.
yeah,
Some of them might sound rudimentary, of course, but what I've learned that what sounds simple sometimes is in reality the most complex thing to practice. So something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. So let's go forward, guys. On this slide, you also can just remind yourself just some kind of vision on transformation journey that we're going to have or is going to happen on the or during the software development project. And just you can see the dependencies or some kind of blocks of activities that could be grouped. That is also good to know and good to remind ourselves one more time. And for sure, the standard vision of discovery stages that everyone need to know and need to be aligned with on during our projects. So let's go forward. And our first case that we name as a setting up for a successful discovery phase. Or this is some kind of dilemma, how we going to be prepared or well prepared, even more well prepared in our cases. So the main problem statement in our opinion is the next, that discovery can easily derail, yeah, without proper preparation. And that is true. That is true because we very often we have a lot of lack of clarity on client side, especially when the highest managers on client side just thinking about something, but their subordinates doesn't aware about their ideas much, or maybe about their plans much, but they just conducting the project, they just going to make the business with us, yep, and they want to make everything on their plate very fast, or fastly, or in very fast or rapid manner, and that burns a lot of misunderstanding and lack of clarity on the client side very often. Also, we can face with unstructured conversation with the stakeholders, also has a roots in the first reason. And for sure, as a conclusion, so we could have some kind of delays due to unexpected logistical issues, especially interesting point for infrastructure projects or governmental projects at all. So, Dmitry, again, the main question: what solution will be here? Yep, and what we need to be aware in that
Yeah,
process.
yeah. The solution can be like rephrase or phrase in one just simple sentence. Go in well prepared. But before we dive deeper into the breaking down this sentence, I would like to remind, because I already mentioned about fixed price projects and why it
Yeah.
is important for the fixed price projects to have this discovery phase. Because for me this is a baseline case. I mean, going well prepared on any discovery project. And we have to understand the difference between fixed price projects and T&M projects quite clearly, because the most of the risks in fixed price projects is transferred to the vendor, to the developer, mostly, where and budget, timeline, and deliverables, and sometimes even a delivery date, yes, are defined upfront by the customer. So they definitely sometimes don't clearly understand what they want, for instance, in a
Yeah.
year, or if you're talking about like a timeline about 9, 12, sometimes even more months. But they understand that they have this particular amount of time, this particular amount of money, and like desired delivery date should be, like, I don't know, 1st of January next year, for
Yeah.
example, under the fair tree. So, and the discovery phase here is about to help us to correct our budgeting of the overall project, to understand what kind of possible obstacles, different risks can
Mhm.
appear during the realization of this project, how the customer works, and help us to develop some sort of different mitigation plans,
Yeah.
and to react. So, and talking about this first case or lesson, we have to understand that discovery begins even before the first conversation with the client. So to set yourself up for success, start with just even small research and planning, taking especially into account today's capabilities of different AI tools, so that can help you to get all the necessary information about the domain, about the customer, about the operational or business model, and so on and so forth, just to collect as
Mhm.
much as possible information about the current situation and the context. So also read about a bit about how the organization are solving similar problems around the world. If you know what customer wants, for instance, what kind of problem they are
Mhm.
currently meeting, try to understand similar cases. Doesn't matter what in what kind of point of the world it happened around the world. Uh, and to be fair, every development team conducts usually detailed audits to understand the technological landscape,
Mhm.
paying attention to different technological stack, infrastructure, security issues, and
Yeah.
so on and so on. But most often, uh, uh, discovery teams focus on these technological elements without properly scrutinizing the organization cultural fabric, even though this is critical to the functioning of the organization and of the cooperation between two different, sometimes with different cultures, teams that are going to communicate and develop the product together. So a lot of different interesting stuff can happen during the conversations, collaboration, and so on and so forth. So you have to understand definitely the cultural aspects as well, and the communicational model, how to communicate with each other, how to align with each other, how to understand the cultural aspects of the, if you're especially working in different countries, not
Yeah.
only in different organizations, but also talking about different cultural from the country's perspective aspects. So Goals and expectations. Before speaking to anyone, of course, you have to understand your clear objectives for each step of the discovery and define expected outcomes. What kind of artifacts or what kind of outcomes are you going to deliver to the customer during your discovery phase? Because it's not only about talking and blah 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 meetings. Let's say so.
Yeah,
Definitely, you have to understand what kind of artifacts, and mostly we are talking about like clickable prototypes, frames, like proof of concepts on finding decision on the for the problem, and the final report may be containing different a lot of information that was like collected during the discovery phase.
yeah,
Plan discovery properly. Planning to minimize the chance of unexpected risks, especially if you understand and can clearly identify risk in five like most common areas like people, processes, technology, infrastructure, and so on and so forth.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Please go ahead.
yeah, and think about questionnaires to prepare
Yeah,
different questionnaires for different stakeholders, how to align, how to set up. Think about logistics, where and how often are you going to meet with different subject matter experts, stakeholders, how to align all these in their calendars, in your calendars, because like I said, discovery it's a short period of time. It's usually about 3 to 8, sometimes 12 weeks to understand. So it seems that it is like a long period of time, but definitely uh, it will the time. I mean, fly before you can find an open slot in a somebody's or subject matter expert calendar. So think
yeah.
about all these aspects beforehand.
And I just want to add a couple of thoughts that just came into my mind. The first one, as you talked about the plan, yep, guys, please remind yourself as one of the most important strategists in the world, Napoleon Bonaparte just said to his generals, guys, you could win the battle without plan, but not the war. So that is why we need to plan everything because, as Dmitry mentioned, we are time limited, efforts limited, etc., etc., and that means that our constraints, the system of our constraints, should be taken in account. And this is, I think, the basic mistake that just BAs who doesn't have any kind of experience in discovery could make at the first step. And the second quote that I just thinking about is the quote of Albert Einstein. Einstein, yep. So that imagination is more important than knowledge, but we can say in that case you need definitely know what you're going to do on discovery because imagination of the managers on client side hasn't is unlimited. Yep, they could potentially want a lot of things, but the technology stack, our capabilities, I mean, in our not only solution that we're going to prepare together during the discovery, but with the overall experience of the talents in our company, also has some kind of limitation. So, Dmitry, how are we going to manage these two aspects? Maybe some kind of small tips for our guys.
Well, I'm not sure that I clearly understand. Could you rephrase just short sentence? Because, well,
Yeah,
maybe I
sure,
missed.
sure, 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 sure.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. So the first thing that we're going to face with how we can provide some kind of limitation of unlimited imagination of the client's representatives.
Well, that's impossible. That's impossible to limit imagination. Of course, all customers they have like unlimited possibilities to imagine, but definitely we have to like grounded them and to ask them not just about like imagine the situation, but to align all these imaginations in the like triangle of budget, timeline, and available team from their side, mostly from
So
their side, because it's not only about like proposing the solution from technological perspective from the vendor, for instance, but it's also from there should be like responsibility on the customer side that they are ready to like participate in the work. I mean, not only in discovery but in the further steps as well. With and they have all necessary resources on their side, taking into
yeah.
account like infrastructure, like human capital and talents, and legislation. If we are talking about, for instance, GovTech, there are a lot of different legislation obstacles can be met during
Mhm,
the
mhm.
realization phase of the development project. So, well, definitely, imagination is good, but we have to think about how to ground it in some sort of frame
Awesome.
or bodies
So
of,
guys,
of reality.
yeah, so guys, we have very simple things, very simple tips here. So project triangle, yep, time, quality, budget, resources audit, and for sure grounded all kind of ideas to the technological stack that you're going to use. I think that we covered the first case and we can go forward. Yep.
Yeah,
So the second one, staying agile and avoiding surprises in discovery. Very, very important and very, very often case. And the main problems of and some kind of preconditions that guys we can highlight together for you are the next that we can face with the major misalignments revealed late in the process. Yeah, especially this thing revealed. Yeah, late in the process. Solution that fail to address the real problem. It's also very often thing. And lack of buy-in from the key stakeholders or resistance from teams. Very interesting preconditions. Dmitry, pass the word to you.
yeah. How to solve all this and how to be prepared for such situation. I think that no one likes a nasty surprise or surprises. So
Yeah.
again, about imagination. Just imagine reaching the end of the discovery after some weeks, eight, for example, 8 weeks, and realizing you had it wrong all along. So how to prevent all that? Just
Yeah.
imagine. I'm talking about like real things. That before starting, imagine this situation in 8 weeks that everything was wrong. So and start thinking right now about how to prevent this. So
Mhm.
first of all, validate your understanding persistently. That you understand that you're not only talking about like your imagination, covering imagination of the customer, but you are talking about like a real understanding, trying to ground it in a like description of, if you're talking, for instance, about enterprise architecture audit, for instance, you are trying to follow some sort of approach with architect team that they're talking about the same things with the customer and they understand each other, and on like weekly basis, for instance, or even once in 2 days weekly.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, 2 days meetings clarify all these understandings that you are moving in the right direction. Play play back the information you've collected and check if that's right. That you understand the information that you were
Mhm.
provided is your understanding, your like translation of this information from your perspective is correct in an understanding of the customer, because well sometimes like letters
Mhm.
in the document it's just letters or like pixels on the screen, and everybody can see different sense in this text, so you should definitely spend some time aligning around all this context of the information. uh, Point out patterns from data, if any. So, like trying to, if you're talking about big amount of data, which can be also provided during the discovery phase, you have to be able to process and conduct some sort of maybe data analysis. So you should definitely, at early stage, like limit all the work on the discovery just to be just to get the valuable inputs, which be valuable outputs, let's say so,
Mhm.
for the customer for the solving particular problem on the discovery. Involve sponsors or primary stakeholders right from the start, because definitely sometimes it's interesting when they are at the start on the kickoff meeting, for instance, and they just
Yeah.
come to the closure meeting at after eight weeks, and they are surprised that something went wrong and that it's not an expected outcomes of the discovery. So definitely set up meetings on a weekly, bi-weekly, uh, like uh, timelines, time boxes, just to provide them all necessary information about the progress of the project, about the of the discovery phase, about the information that was covered, gathered, and how it can help the to solve
Mhm.
to find the solution and solve the problem that is discovering. Align concerned teams, because definitely inside the customer there could be like different teams which are not, let's say so, very will be satisfied with the ongoing the process of the discovery, but because a lot of different organizational changes, discovery may let's say so highlight the necessity just to move forward.
Mhm.
And from your initial discussions with the stakeholders, you'll have a sense of the clients ecosystem, promoters, detractors, etc. Just collect all this information and again uh, validate it and clarify with the customer
Mhm.
and adapt your approach accordingly, because well I'm pretty sure that nowadays, I don't know, everybody have been speaking about agile for the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, but to be agile and to talk about being agile, different things.
Huge
So
difference.
constantly demonstrate that you are really agile and flexible, again based on the information you are getting from the discovery phase.
Awesome. I think that this list just covered all things, all aspects, all accents, guys, that you need to take in account when you go in to stay in agile and just trying to avoid the surprises on Discovery Way. And I think that what we need to add here, only one maybe minor comment, that please make your checklists of the points not only related to the plan of your actions, but also to provide the right context or to make the right context, to build the right context of your discovery phase. And these points that Dmitry just mentioned, in that case, they will help you a lot. So this is some kind of checklist on the screen that you can see and you can use in your practice. And we can go forward to our third case, wrapping up strong and close out on a high note. Very important thing, because a lot of colleagues just based on their actual workload during the discovery phase just could be burnout at the end of this intensive process of work. And that means for us that we need to be in focus, yep, especially at the end of the discovery, because the probability to make some kind of mistake or just provide some kind of wrong accent is too high for all of us. So problem statement with the preconditions are the next. You could face with the situation when you doesn't see the value of your efforts, again burnout. Receive and understand and unstructured, unclear final report, again exhausting. Yeah, lack a clear path forwarded after the discovery phase. This is a crucial point, because all of us going to make our discoveries, yep, in practice, just to make the contracts and bring the business into our companies. Am I right?
Yep. Yep. And Yeah, once again, nobody likes surprises, like we said previously. And but anyway, even if we imagine, even if you had all these like stakeholders involvement and weekly or bi-weekly necessary progress meetings, just to provide all
Mhm.
the necessary information to the people who are responsible for making different decisions, at the end of, let's say, of the discovery phase of 8 weeks, for instance, the client needs to see value in your work anyway, because definitely all these stakeholders of, I mean, high level position stakeholders, they have a lot of different streams and information taken should be taken into account from their side. And your project can maybe just one of, I don't know, tens of different projects,
Yeah.
and information should be like definitely divided into some parts and prepared around the value, the final value of your work. So this entirely depends on how you demonstrate it in your final report, in your final presentation, in your final close up, let's close out meeting, and so on and so on, so forth. So work on it like you are creating, for instance, your own brand. It's,
Mhm.
if we may say so. Summarize and reflect goals again, just to be able to communicate that we started with these goals. Something can be changed because we are talking about like adaptable approach, to be flexible, and you can show that during the discovery phase what has been changed and why, describing and explaining the reasons for that, and how all these revisit the objectives defined at the start and showcase how they've been addressed with
Yeah.
what kind of like proposals or let's say so solutions. Uh, Prove goal achievement. Demonstrate results by explaining how the goals were met with supporting evidence. That you are not talking about like theoretical only aspects, but you are talking about, for instance, small proof of concepts or like clickable, some sort of prototype of some sort of frames
Mhm.
and forms. And if you're talking about, for instance, software, or if you're talking about some sort of data analysis, provide the results of data analysis and data patterns, if any, and so on and so forth. Uh, Present solutions with prioritization. So, if you, for instance, if you have on your plate that's some two, three, or more like possible solutions, just prioritize, highlighting pluses and minuses, drawbacks, and like what kind of like positive outcomes can be achieved by that or the solution for the customer and its business. Provide clear recommendations,
Mhm.
well defined, actionable next steps, ensuring like clarity on what comes next, and describing what kind of like breakdown plan can be seen in the next phase. If you're talking, for instance, MVP, about after the next step, talk about more detailed MVP plan, the team composition, what kind of like priority of what kind of highlight on high level tasks should be done during the MVP, and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. And envision the future journey. So just talking about roadmap, not only about the next the foreseeable step like MVP, but also talk about like phase two, phase three, even if it's only about high level, even talking about that everything can be changed after the MVP phase, for instance. It's totally okay, because we are not talking about like concrete waterfall approach. Definitely, if you're talking about transformation projects, modernization or
Mhm.
development,
Mhm.
a new software, everything will be reviewed during the every stage. After every stage, you will receive a lot of different like change requests, and you have to be able to adjust to them and to think about how to implement them on the next stage, and communicate clearly this to the
Sure.
customer right away on this like closeout meeting, and
Awesome.
make sure. Well, to make this impactful, for instance, if you maybe need to involve a designer, for instance, for help how to prepare user friendly for different stakeholders, you need to think about the perspective of presentation, how to show them not with a lot of different text, for instance, but with pictures and so on and so forth. If you want to provide good prepared technical reports, involve technical writers just to review and to adjust some sort of improvements in your final report
Mhm.
and documentation to provide before provisioning to the customer.
Yeah,
So
and that yes, and that is really, really, I think, great piece of advice. Yep, from your side as from the side of an expert of the expert side. Yeah, because as you know, guys, you can did a great job, awesome, brilliant job during the discovery phase. But if you can't present in the right manner the results of this job or this work, that could means for you the fail of discovery somehow. Yeah, but why? Because the client can't feel the whole complexity, all importancy of the made work. Yep. So that means for us that we need to take in account the question of the final report making for the on discovery phase as the one of the biggest priority for discovery team, as Dmitry mentioned. And right now on the screen, you can see again the checklist of these things that could help you a lot. And we need to go forward, and we have some kind of bonus case for you
yeah,
guys today that we named Keep Discovery and Inception Distinct. A very provoke name, but what about that? You can add, Dmitry.
Yes, yes. Often teams try to blend discovery and inception to save time. So, I mean, teams, especially from the customer side, and they try to involve vendor in not only in the discovery, but also how to move faster, further steps. This can be a huge mistake because definitely we have to clearly communicate the difference between discovery phase and the next phases. Discovery is about identifying problems or opportunities to align business goals or what organization is trying to achieve during this solving this or that problem or gaining this or that opportunity with the product digital transformation program roadmap and so on and so forth. Inception, well, the word talks for itself, is about planning the solution or uh, transforming findings into actionable roadmap, delivery roadmap, transformational roadmap, and the implementation strategy. So
Mhm.
here we should, of course, from the discovery phase, we have some sort of ideas how to do, for instance, next steps. Like we were talking about roadmap, but definitely the customer after the discovery should make a decision where we going next. I mean, we are going with what kind of solution. If we, for instance, prepared 2 or 3 alternatives, we have to understand how it aligns with their strategy and ask them or help them to choose the solution and implement it into their operational model, into their strategy, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Because, well, definitely, it's impossible to to take and try to develop or implement these 2 or 3 alternatives because, well, it will cost a lot of money and it will take a lot of time and, well, it will be some sort of a mess trying to solve a problem with 2 or 3 different solutions. Well,
Yeah.
it's sometimes it sounds even crazy.
Yes, yes, totally agree, and can't add anything more. So, I think that guys, please also take this thinking into your account, and I think that we are just pretty good with our timeline right now, and we need to finish our event, but we covered all cases. And as usually for you guys, we prepared some kind of one pagers also this time, two one pagers for you. And the first one related to the just discovery phase complex model vision that you can use in your practice. And the second one is about the discovery phase complex model decomposition related to the phases of discovery process. And just kind reminder, please subscribe on our social media pages. Of course, and for sure, firstly, just please visit the page of Dmitry on LinkedIn on LinkedIn space, and just subscribe on Dmitry's page as well, because Dmitry and our community and me, as you know, we are trying to provide you a lot of interesting and useful information on or constantly or permanently. Yep. So please stay with us. Thank you so much, Dmitry, for such great and very intensive discussion today. Guys, we cover all points. If you have any questions, you are very welcome to ask these questions on VR community space under event link. And please stay with us. With us is always interesting. And thank you so much for your
And
time.
Dmitry, I think that we
Yeah.
have unanswered questions as far as I can see
Oh, that's
from
great. That's great.
the
If you
chat.
have some kind of questions, that will
Do
be
we
nice.
do we have time? Just 2 3 minutes to
Yes,
answer
yes,
that?
sure, sure.
Yeah, to
Let's
try.
provide the answers on that questions. Volodymyr, do we have anyone any questions or anyone who want to ask
I
us
see the
something?
question from Yuri that Volodymyr shared with us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, only
Awesome,
one.
Yeah, and
awesome.
if I understand correctly, the first part of the question is related to like rejection by EPAM
Mhm.
organization, which I represent, just on the stage of the client context gathering because of learning of domain requires so much time. Well, I can't tell for the whole EPAM because EPAM like huge company and well tens of thousands of people are working there. But from my perspective, from my experience, that's possible. Of course, it's mostly possible not only because the learning the context and because it's too expensive, but because it's the difference between understanding and understanding by the customer that discovery phase is like obligatory phase. Not every customer understands that this should be a part of the work, especially at the beginning, because if we are talking about GovTech and fixed price projects, as I say, most of the organization GovTech related or public entities and agencies, they should follow like strict tender and procurement procedures, and for them sometimes it's quite difficult to like to procure like discovery only a discovery phase, because well there's definitely not a guarantee like information technology solution for them. So
Mhm.
they should somehow conduct all this work by their team, and the outcome is not so clear. And definitely we can reject some sort of like participation, for instance, in some sort of tender or procurement, because we definitely don't want to spend a lot of time because this or that domain is out of our experience, and we are not going to invest in this or that part of the work because the customer is not going to pay us
Yeah.
for that, and we're not going to to assign a obligation to deliver the solution, because the procurement, like I said, and the risks and the
Mhm.
timeline and the amount of money should be should identified upfront from the customer, and we're not ready for that. And the
Yeah.
second part of the question was around like what are the most complex problems that were discussed with customers, at least from business analysts perspective.
Mhm.
Well, different again, it's difficult to understand what is, in your opinion, complex for you, a complex problem, because definitely business analysts there should be involved from the like step one, even from the like negotiation with the customer, just to get the all necessary information and be the link, be the bridge between
Mhm.
like business and customer, and translates all these like imagination, all these like images in their heads to the technological or architectural stream, just to be able to understand how to what kind of problem they're trying to solve, and what kind of
Mhm.
like necessary outcome they want. So the complexity can be different. If again, if we're talking about GovTech, it can be about how to develop some sort of information communication system which should like be connected with different other information government informational systems, and the payment systems, and interoperability platforms
Mhm.
inside the different agencies and ministries inside the government. And you have the business analyst should understand all these contexts, how it works, how this business like runs, and who is responsible for what kind of part. I mean, not only on the team composition, but on the like legal entities and ministries and agencies responsibilities, because
Yeah.
well, and what is the legislation, know how to ask necessary and like proper questions, where to get all this, because definitely without understanding the context of the like operational model of these agencies and ministries, is difficult to understand how we're going to what kind of solution we're going to propose them. This is, well, the most complex thing is to understand the like actual role model on the high level, then how to dive deeper and deeper to the like uh, uh, proper and dedicated teams inside each agency or department, how to get the necessary information for the like analysis and for the modeling of the future solution.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such complex answer on that question. And Volodymyr, if we don't have any additional questions, we can just
No,
finish.
no, no. Actually, we don't have any.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, one more time, thank you very much, our great expert, Dmitry Litvinsky. Guys, please stay with us. Let's go forward together, and we're going to work with you and for you, and we'll provide you with great piece of knowledge again. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Bye bye.